Neonic Void Productions presents.
You would think that Venus would represent like what your love is like, right? Like your
Mhm.
how your love. It says represents an interest in emotions and values exchange and sharing with others.
I mean, that can correlate to love in a way, a
True.
certain form of love.
Mine's in Gemini.
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
What?
That's not true. Wait a minute.
Two
Wait.
Face?
Welcome back. Well, it
This is
says
your Two Face?
okay, no. It says people will try to win over the object of their affection with witty conversation, displaying just how much they know and demonstrating their diverse interests. These lovers are playful. Some might even call them a tease. They are hard to pin down and they resist relationships that promise to become too comfortable. That's true. Because I've noticed that, like, whenever I'm like, it's starting to get too comfortable, there's become too much of a stagnant routine. I'm like, I'm getting bored. What? And I'll say it like I'm getting bored. Even those with their sun in Taurus or Cancer, whose outward demeanor may suggest some reserve and caution, will want their relationships to be stimulating and full of conversation with Venus in Gemini. Venus and Gemini people don't want to be tied or bogged down in their relationships. They appreciate lightheartedness and love, although they are willing to talk, perhaps endlessly, about the relationship. You may get the feeling that they gloss over some of the deeper issues. You right. That's right. That's true. In love, their tastes change often and it can be hard to know what to expect from one day to the next. Oh, pleasing Venus and Gemini involves supporting their need for fun and variety, showing interest in their brain power and knowledge, giving them space for friends and activities outside of the relationship. Let them know just how much fun you have with them. That's true. Try not to get overly miffed by genus and Gemini's. That's what I was gonna say. Venus and Gemini, changeable, fickle ways. Remember that spent time with your lover will be exciting and invigorating. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. And Venus is in my second house,
That's nice.
which means there's a link between my emotional life and money. Oh God.
Mm.
She's like, bitch, money makes her happy. You right. It does.
It do be like that, though.
Activities connected with beauty, aesthetics, and finery. Bitch, you right.
I cannot relate.
Danger of big spending. You right.
But I can relate.
I mean, Venus is a classy lady, right?
Huh?
Venus is a classy lady. Like, comparing to Aphrodite, it's
Oh,
like
Yeah.
yeah.
the goddess of
She's a classy
love.
lady.
I imagine they love luxurious items and spending big.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not that I want to, but I have an uncontrollable like expensive taste. And it's not that like it's a lack of trying, right? Like I could be shopping and be like, "Oh, I really like that. That's hella cute." And I look at the price, it's like $200 and I'm like, "It's not that cute." Like but like I always am attracted to the more expensive things without me knowing that it's expensive
Mm.
until I check the price and I'm like, oh, that's expensive
God.
without Marie Antoinette money. And I'm all like, that's
Oh God,
yep.
we're gonna burn you at. We're gonna off with their head. French Revolution, your ass.
No, bitch, let them eat cake.
She doesn't actually say that though. That's a
I know,
lie.
I know.
That's a lie.
I
Let them eat cake.
And ice cream.
A partner who makes you feel safe and secure is ideal for you. You are right.
I can only imagine what some of this shit mine says. It's probably a fucking hot mess. basically layman's terms, you're a hot
Bitch, oh, now I want to go look it again.
man.
Okay, so March
28th,
28th,
1992
92, and you were born at 7:30 a.m.
in Jacksonville, Florida.
and you're a Florida man.
I am a Florida man.
Hold on, let me see.
I'm
Your
a
Venus
natural
is in
born.
Pisces.
Oh, that's fun.
The moon. Mercury, Venus. Dreamy, soft-hearted partners. Everything about the way they flirt promises a lovely time. Theirs is an elusive charm. They are sweet, playful, a little moody, perhaps a little irregular. They appreciate romance and poetry. They prefer to feel out both you and the relationship you share. So don't expect too much planning ahead. Their sensitivity can be a little misleading at times. They are sensitive, but lovers may find it maddening that the sensitivity is not only directed at them, but towards, yeah, that's true. It's towards all of mankind.
Of all mankind. I feel attacked.
Venus and Pisces men and women, their love is unconditional. They are unimpressed by your status and love and accept you for all that you are inside. They love the underdog and are attracted to wayward folks. Those in need of a little help. With their romantic, I'm not gonna add to that. With their romantic view of the world, they can be unreasonable to states of suffering and martyrdom. That's true. So they easily get into the role of saving someone or being saved. Unlike Venus in Libra, which thrives on equality, Venus in Pisces is equally turned on by inequality. They can be rather confusing and hard to pin down as they feel their way through their relationships. As much as they may want to, they find it hard to commit. Many do end up committing, however, at least on the surface. Excuse me, involves enjoying tender moments, romantic times with them. You won't always be able to count on them. In fact, you can be sure they will stretch the truth every once in a while, but remember they do this because they fear they might hurt you. They can't bear to cause you any heartache, so try to understand, although that's never an easy task considering the fact that they don't always know themselves. The truth is, privately, have a love affair going on with the idea of being misunderstood. Try to put up with their apparent lack of direction. They are so receptive and open to all possibilities that it's hard for them to commit to any one thing, idea, or even person. These intriguing partners will reward you with the love that is accepting and comes as close to unconditional as humans can get. Successful professional life in great part due to good friendships, relationships, or patrons. He finds love in the circle of friends. Friendship over your relationship needs to be genuine in order for you to sustain a romantic interest. You tend to focus on the person's unique abilities. The things that make them stand out as the most attractive. And all this other stuff. Independent in love. Love is rich, but possibly with passing love affairs. Bitch. Your preferences can be somewhat unconventional. And may not be happy with a partner who tries to limit your happy fun time expression.
Oh.
Professional life can be creative or inconsistent. Yeah, there's a lot in your Venus. You have a lot of planets that well, not planets, but like sextiles and stuff. So
hello and welcome to Book Watchers. That was horoscopes,
read.
everybody. The universe reading me to filth. Yeah. Anyway. Oh God.
You okay?
Yeah. It's funny. Hi, I'm Zio. You know, I'm joined with the peeps. It was. I'm here joined with the peeps. You know them. You love them.
So we
Can't
might
get rid of
want
them.
to redo the intro because you said book watchers.
I said book watchers?
Yes.
God damn it. Hi, welcome to Spook Oclips, where I'm mixing up podcast names again. Fuck
fine.
me. I'm your host, Zio.
It's okay. We do occasionally watch some books.
You know,
You right.
I do a lot. Okay. It takes a lot to run a podcast.
It takes
There's
a lot.
There's
Running
a
a
lot.
podcast is hard.
It's so hard. There's a Google Calendar.
Save it for the episode.
This is the episode we're talking about. That
I mean,
movie.
when we get to that part, it's more cathartic that way.
It takes up a lot of fucking time.
It does. So hi, it's Theo with housekeeper, and Bunyam. Housekeeper, take it away.
Oh, what? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was eating my post-workout. If you like this podcast, make sure you follow and rate us on whatever site you listen to your podcast. Share with your friends. New episodes get uploaded every Saturday. Links are down in the description for other podcasts that are part of the Neonic family. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at Spookocalypse. That's at SPOOKOCALYPSE. We also have a YouTube. If you are, make sure to check out our channel for other podcasts. There's a D&D podcast. There's Book Watchers. There's this one. Eventually, other ones may be popping up. Ideas is also on there.
House of Ideas, yeah.
Comic book characters, bussin',
Listen.
It's fun. Make sure you
Over
drop a
for
like.
all.
Oh, and this is really cool. So, if you are on YouTube, if you look underneath the play, like the screen that like the video's on, next to our name, if you're not subscribed, if I say please subscribe, that button lights up. So, if you're not subscribed, please do so, because if not, then it's just going to continue to light up for you. So subscribe, drop a like, ring that, tickle, punch that bell, whatever suits your fancy. Drop a comment on what your favorite part of the movie is, or if there's a movie or show or game or something spooky that you want us to review. We'd like to hear from you, or just say hi. We don't bite. We do some spooky shit here, and Mints, we're gonna be on the pillow.
Or follow us on TikTok at A24 Productions. This
is new. This is new information for me. I don't have this in my script.
No, it's not. But it's there. I'm sure you'll find. I'll be posting previews of episodes and stuff. Maybe a few other things here and there, but there's a TikTok in there now. So cool. Woo!
Yay!
Now today's episode is going to continue on the theme of A24 for the month of my birthday.
Yay!
I'm turning old.
You're over the hill now.
Did we have a flavor for a mint?
Oh, our flavor for mint.
Yeah, what's today's flavored mint?
Dark chocolate coconut. Just because I put dark chocolate coconut. That's just because I just ate a candy that's dark chocolate coconut.
Because I don't think there's any flavors that correlate to the movie we're talking about.
Brownies.
Yeah, that works. Like, if we ever get more movies or stuff where we can't think of a flavor that correlates, like orange sherbet.
Orange sherbet.
Or dark chocolate.
It doesn't have to match what we're watching. Like, it could be like, what was the last like flavor soda you had?
Yeah, dark chocolate coconut's good because that shit sounds bussin'.
It's so good, and it has like no sugar in it. So,
oh wow,
it's low carb, y'all.
So today we are going to be talking about the movie called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is directed by Helena
Region.
Regent. Yeah, Helena Region. Okay, let me go on her page. Oh, she actually has a Helena Rien. It
It's
looks like
Dutch.
it says. Oh,
Yeah, she's Dutch. Helena Rien. I'm mispronouncing that. I'm
Rain?
so sorry.
Rain?
Rain? It's also that's what I was looking at too. Is like rain.
yeah, like it's
Ma'am,
the J
I'm
silent.
so sorry if we butchered your last name.
We're not Dutch. I'm so sorry,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
I apologize. You're amazing director. Amazing.
Uh-huh.
Iconic queen.
Yes. So this movie was directed by that lovely director. It also stars
Stenberg.
Amandla Stenberg, Maria Baklova.
Do not tell me that last name is baklava, because that looks like
Baklava?
baklava.
It does.
Baklava.
It does look like the dessert, but it looks like it says bakalova.
Bakalova. Yeah,
Okay, I'm just
Bakalova.
dyslexic today.
Maria Bakalova.
Mayella Harold.
Mayella Harold. That's a good one. That's a good one. Good one. God, there's so many. Y'all's names in this movie. Y'all's actors, your names. I am so sorry.
We're
Chase
dyslexic over here?
Sue
Wait, both of you?
Wonders.
No.
I am. I mean, but I literally am. I literally am.
I've never been diagnosed as such, but whenever I'm extremely tired, I do read things wrong.
And then we got Rachel
So no.
Sinat.
No.
Sinat. Lee Pace, and of course probably the actor that's most well known outside of Amanda is Pete Davidson.
I love that guy.
I know, he's so great.
A lot of people hate him, but I fucking
I
love
know.
him.
He's so stupid. That's part of his charm. So this
Just
movie was let's see. This movie was done by the studio known as 2 a.m. Lovely. It was released in the United States through A24.
Yeah.
It's released through Stage 6 Films and internationally. So A24 only got the release for this film in the United States, while elsewhere it's released through basically Sony. This film got released March 14, 2022 by South by Southwest, and then to the public in the United States, August 5th, 2022, with a budget of $14 million.
No, that's what they made in box.
That's what they made box office. They made $14 million box office. They never specify what the budget is.
Sad.
Which I'm surprised this movie only made $14 million. I expected it to make a little more.
Well, we don't know how much the budget was.
That's true.
So opening weekend, they made $226,653 from 6 theaters in LA and New York.
Yeah. So the budget given, I looked this elsewhere. So the budget given apparently was like $3 million.
They might have it on IMDb.
I googled it because it's on Box Office Mojo. Apparently, it's on the line given. It's, I guess, what people are speculating was around $3 million. So $3 million, if it's at least $3 million against that $14 million budget, it made its money back and then some. I would say that's a box office hit, more or less. If it was like $3 million against that 14. I'm trying to think what else. As Housekeeper Sales only released in 6 theaters across like Los Angeles and New York, and then eventually got to a wider release of 1287. No, sorry, 1283 on second weekend. That's how many theaters it got released to. And it slowly just became more available because A24 has a tendency to do that for whatever reason.
Because they support a lot of independent. They're very big on and
Yeah. But then you got
who have small, especially people who have small budget, right? So
yeah,
they have to pay to put in their movie in certain venues, and
yes, I'm aware.
if they can't break even or make a profit, then they're only going to put them in certain venues. And then if it's become good, that's whenever they release wider. But because it is smaller creators, it's just safer that way than just trying to release it everywhere and them losing the money.
That's A24. That's A24 for you. Now the next film we're talking about next week didn't have that problem. That was pretty much a wide release. And then the film we're talking at the end of the month, that did not get a wide release for whatever godforsaken reason. That was a missed opportunity. Y'all haters out there.
What film?
Beau's Afraid.
Oh.
That's why I didn't get to see it with you and Indigo. Because I only saw it when it was only there for like 2 weekends. We had to go to Alamo Draft House for that movie because it wasn't showing anywhere else. And then it disappeared after like a week or two. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was hoping for it to get released everywhere, but it did not. And that movie was good. So we're talking about the end of the month. Anyways, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Let's talk about it. What happened?
Okay.
What happened?
Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is about a group of people who, during a hurricane. It starts off with B to the house of B's childhood friend David. David is played by Davison. And they throw this like party as soon as they find out the storm is coming. B is very nervous because she feels like she doesn't fit in with like a group. So to put in perspective though, Sophie and her friends are very upper class, rich people, and B is very much working class, not rich, pension, daddy's money people, because that's what they are.
Yeah, it sort of had some pool party massacre vibes where it's like, this house is big, but my house is bigger.
Yeah. But fucking Pool Party Massacre was like freaking like filmed in the suburbs, dude.
I know. Side note, they've already confirmed a sequel in the works for that one.
Oh, I guess we're gonna watch that and review that at a later date.
When it gets released anyway.
So Sophie does tell B that, oh no, like they'll love you, don't worry about it. She parks the car, yells that like the window won't go up, and B stays behind to like fix her makeup and her hair in the mirror, the passenger side visor mirror. And there is some foreshadowing because the lights are left on in the car. She leaves the light from the mirror on in the car. They get inside and Sophie introduces B to everyone that's there. David, who has a girlfriend with actress named Emma. There's also Sophie's ex-girlfriend. There's Alice, who's a podcaster, and her boyfriend, who's older, Greg. Sophie never told everybody that she was coming, so like no one was expecting them. but people are happy to see them except for Jordan, who was Sophie's ex-girlfriend. Alice suggests a toast to kind of like get rid of the tension and celebrate seeing Sophie after a long time. Greg goes and finds a machete and like opens up this bottle of champagne. Um and like Sophie kind of like stands on the sidelines and watches them drink this stuff because she 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 can't drink with them. She's recovering. Um and during the toast it starts to rain. They all go inside. Sophie and B get changed, and then when David goes to get Sophie, they talk alone, and Sophie like points out that David has a black eye, and he explains that like him and Max, who is another one of their friends, got in a fight. Max punched David and then left the party. David also seems to be a little bit jealous of Greg and Alice, and he like talks shit about Greg for like no reason. Like there's no one prompts him to do it. He just starts talking shit. And he won't let Sophie talk about her parents. B wanders around the house for a little bit, and Jordan walks into her, warns her to be careful about Sophie. And then they join the rest of the girls in the kitchen where like Sophie kind of feels awkward with the rest of the girls and she tries to fit in. She drinks with them, eats a special brownie, and she starts to feel a little bit more relaxed and shit. So like everybody starts talking and starts hanging out and everybody's starting to be more relaxed. They ask about her and how like they ask about B and how she knows Sophie. And and she explains like, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm from this college and that's how we met." And then that's whenever the party really starts. Everybody continues drinking and dancing, and Jordan doesn't like how close B and Sophie get whenever they dance. So like she then dances with her like with B, and then Sophie gets jealous, and like it gets like super super tense. Like it's weird. It's a like shit with exes is always weird, y'all. I can't. I can't.
Period.
I can't. Like, ugh. It gives me the ick. I can't. I can't. Um, she tries to get them to stop dancing, and then that's whenever Sophie comes up with the idea of playing the game Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Um, and it's a very simple rule. A lot of people will recognize it. Um, uh, People have known it as Mafia, Werewolf, Among Us. It's the same shit. Each person, they cut up little pieces of paper. Each person will pick up a piece of paper, but only one of them will have an X on it. That X represents you being the killer. So if you pick up the X, you're the killer. Um, and whenever the time comes, everybody hides, and the killer has to go and find them and kill them by just tapping them on their back or on their shoulder. The person then has to lie down and pretend to be dead until someone else finds them and they yell bodies, bodies, bodies. Then everybody gets together and they talk about who like and like then they vote on like who's the killer and stuff like that, and they get kind of like shunned out, and then the game continues. It's Among Us. Um And then, they get back, they start talking about who will start the game. They take shots and like I don't know how they get to this point where like they're like, "How are we going to start the game?" And then they take a shot and then like just start slapping each other.
I
I
mean,
don't
I think that pretty much explains it. It's kind of just random.
Yeah, like they just start just like it's kind of like Bloody Knuckles, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what we grew up playing was Bloody Knuckles. But like they just turn to the next person and slap, and like you slap them. Jordan gets a little bit too excited. um, and slaps a bee. Um, but whenever it's Bee's turn, she doesn't really try to like slap. I think she tries to like it. She tries to slap David, right?
I think so.
Like she's sitting next to David, and like she just basically just like taps him on the face. And everybody's like, "Oh, come on, fine." And then David turns to Greg to show B how it's truly done, or Sophie, it's B. I'm sorry, shows B how it's truly done, and basically punches Greg in the face. David gets called out, which surprises everyone. But they are too drunk to really care, and they decide that it's better to just start the game. At this point, the hurricane has gone fucking crazy, and all the power cuts out of the house, so there's no more lights. And the players all run and hide using the flashlights on their phone to like help them see and stuff. Um, B is careful as she goes and finds a place to hide. But before she can find it, someone yells, "Bodies, bodies, bodies." When everyone goes back to the living room, Greg is acting like he's already dead. So people start naming who the possible killers are. David accuses Emma, Jordan accuses David, which like makes David upset. So David makes fun of Greg, and Greg's just like, "You know what? I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm already dead anyway. There's no point in me continuing the game. I'm just gonna leave." The group starts talking about who would be eliminated, and so Emma and David are still on the top ones for the vote. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Meanwhile, the light in my room is flickering.
Cuckooey, ooey. That's not
There's
fun.
no storm. It might be a dead bulb that's just petering out.
Oh, that's
Mm,
like the worst. I mean,
mm,
we're not talking about like ghosts and demons and shit, so that's kind of
mm.
I'm not
We're
as
not.
scared.
It's just the planned obsolescence of light bulbs.
Yeah. So they start literally fighting about their relationship and like how they don't like spend enough time together and becoming more upset, and then David like picks on Emma by making fun of her mental health um in a way that like makes her cry. And that basically pushes everyone to vote for David as the killer. And he gets mad, breaks some glasses before leaving. And the girls are like, "Well, I guess the game's over. We're not playing this anymore." And they just continue to keep drinking while slapping each other. And the storm gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Oh, I'm sorry. They just turned off the lights. Now the power's out. Um, the power goes out because the blah 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 blah. So anyway, the storm gets worse and worse and worse, and the power cuts out. Not the first time around. They just turned off the lights. That was my mistake. I flipped some things around. But the girls kind of keep their cool. They come up with a plan. Jordan is gonna go look at the breaker. Um, Alice is gonna go look for some flashlights. Sophie will try and find David. And B just decides to just wander around the house again because she really has nothing to do. Um, she wanders around and she finds she ends up in a room where like it's like a floor to ceiling window that like looks out to the backyard, and she like sees like something hitting on the window, and she looks and she sees David bleeding from the neck. Um she calls out for help, and like when all the other girls see it, they all run outside to see if he's okay. And of course David's not answering because like he's literally bleeding from the throat. And the storm has taken out all of like their phone services. The landline is out. They run to Sophie's car to try and get to town so that they could ask for help, but lo and behold, that light was left on for a long time and it killed the car battery. So, and this is the only car that they have. The rest of the group came with Max, and he took his vehicle when he left. So the girls go back inside, looking for the generator. Jordan finds the machete that's covered in blood. Um, and Alice kind of has her own idea about how things work, and like there's a theory going around that, oh, do you think that Max came back in the middle of the night and that him and David fought again? And that's whenever they find out that the fight that happened between David and Max was that Max confessed his love or his feelings for Emma, and Jordan just doesn't care and wants to know where Greg is. He was supposed to be sleeping, but with all the noise that they were making, he hasn't woken up. Alice is upset by the suggestion that or Jordan's suggestion that her boyfriend could have done anything, especially whenever like he grabs the knife from the kitchen. However, like she can't deny that she's only known Greg for a few weeks and doesn't know all that much about him. So like they're suggesting like, well, what if it was Greg? What if Greg was the one who killed David?
Ooh.
It's still Alice thinks that she should tell him, but Jordan is just basically like, well, let's go look. They end up in Alice's room where they don't find anybody. Like Greg's not in the room, but they do find his survival kit, which does have a knife in it. Alice is just like, no, he was just being prepared just in case like things go bad, like the hurricane is really, really bad. He's just, being super, careful. They then blah 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 blah. They then go to Jordan's room where they find where B finds Jordan's yellow cute yellow bra. What it looks like a swimming top, right? Like it's like the top of a bathing suit. But it's a cute yellow one. They find Emma and they find her having a panic attack in the sheets of the bed. She takes some medicine. She says she's ready to go. Let's go find Greg. They group up again and they finally find him in the gym. He's wearing what looked like a light therapy mask. And he has headphones in. And he couldn't really hear anything because of them. And that he came into the gym because it was easier for him to meditate. The girls are acting kind of fishy around him, and Jordan even threatens him with like his own knife. And like he's going on, I don't understand. Alice said that the only thing that he likes, like Alice is like, no, like he just wants to be ready for the hurricane. And he doesn't really take their worries seriously. Like he thinks that they're still playing the game. He tries to take the tool from Sophie and like tells everyone to calm down and to put their weapons on the ground so that so that things can be fair. He also puts his tool down, and this gives Jordan and Emma a chance to jump on him. Greg pushes them away rather like abruptly, which shows like concern, like makes the girls even more concerned. But he's just acting in self-defense, right? These girls are jumping him. He has no idea the reason. Sophie tries to recover the tool, but Greg beats her to it, and that pushes B to protect Sophie, and hits Greg in the back of the head with a kettlebell, killing him. Silence overtakes the room, and Alice finally snaps out of it, angry as fuck. Like still believing that Greg didn't kill David. And Jordan basically points out that, like, well, statistically, he had the highest chance of being violent in the group because he was a vet, like a veteran. And that makes Alice even more angry because Greg was a vet, as in a veterinarian, not
And
a
ooh,
veteran. Like, he deals with animals, which, like, she points out that, like, her friends don't really care much about her. I think at this
mhm,
point is whenever she has her speech as well.
yeah,
Like, she gets, like, she goes off on a tangent about how, like, people don't really care about her life. Like, she puts so much work into things, like, into her podcast, and that, like, nobody really cares about her. Like, they think she's annoying. And she goes on this, like, this speech where whenever we saw this movie in theaters, both me and Zio were like, yup, you right.
speak the
Mm-hmm.
truth,
Yes.
mama.
Truth. Like, yeah, like, she goes off. She
Yeah,
goes off. And, like, the fact that, like, everything she said is true. It's like, podcasts take a lot of work. You have to organize guests. You have to make a Google Calendar. You have to build up a following. It takes a lot of time. And we're just all like, we know. We know.
we're right there with you, girl.
It's like, we support you. First of all, whenever, like, at the beginning, I thought she was really annoying. I'm just putting it out there. But, you know, I feel for her now.
Yeah, yeah, we're on your side, girl.
We're on your side. um, you know, and, you know, they get into another fight, and then B, you know, is trying to freaking think, deal with what she's done, and she throws up all over her clothes.
Yeah,
Sophie sends her to their room to change. But the stress gets to her, and she eats another special brownie. Um she gets clean after being clean for a long time. Sophie, Jordan, Emma, and Alice regroup. Um and start to have another fight. Sophie says that she only stayed with David because she's safe, that she didn't really love him. And Emma retaliates by confessing David had been relieved when Sophie disappeared to go to rehab because he wouldn't have to deal with her anymore. And that was like a low blow for Sophie. And she basically is like, I wish that Emma had been killed instead.
damn.
Making Emma cry, and she runs out of the room. Sophie decides to go looking for the really, really strong stuff that David has hidden in his room, and take it to Emma together so that they could take it together as an apology to Sophie. This is so, like, the way that this is worded, I'm so sorry. Like, it's so weird. With an apology. Sophie surprises Emma. Like, this is what I'm reading. Look, listen. Sophie decides to go looking for the really strong stuff David had hidden in his room to then take it to Emma together with an apology to Sophie. Surprise kiss. Emma kisses her before leaving to take the gift in private. That's
Mhm.
not proper English. Meanwhile, he's washing Greg's blood off and changing into new clothes, and Alice, like, it's weird. But wait, Sophie, what happens here? Because, like, I got thrown off reading this for a second.
I got thrown off too. I'm like, where the heck are we supposed to be at?
So this was like whenever they get into a fight, Sophie says that she wishes that Emma had been killed. Emma runs out of the room. Sophie decides to go looking for like David's like stash of shit. And then like I what is it? Sophie and Emma meet up, and like Sophie and Emma make out, I believe, before like they go into the room. And then B is like washing Greg's blood off and changing into a new set of clothes again. I believe. Alice begins wandering around the house to find out where everyone has gone, and she falls because of something that's on the ground. Alice ends up screaming when she discovers that it's, excuse me, I'm sorry. Whew, excuse me. Alice ends up screaming whenever she discovers that what she tripped on was Emma's body.
Bum, bum,
Jordan
bum.
Jordan comes as soon as she hears the screaming, and Jordan wonders if Emma tripped. But Alice is sure that like somebody must have pushed her. Sophie finds them, and the girls decide to go back into the living room, where Alice brings up the game again, saying that like the game never ended, that the killer's still playing, and that like this person is like a literal fucking psycho, and they need to find out who it is before somebody else dies.
And also claim
Jordan
like
and
it's following the pattern of the game, even though it kind of isn't.
I mean, it kind of is though. Like if you like look at like people are dying in secret. Every time someone gets separated, somebody else dies, and they can't really find out who the killer is. So like it's still going off of like this game. And so Jordan and Alice work together to blame B because she's an easy target. She's a stranger. Jordan also says that she Googled B, couldn't find her on like the list of graduated students from the Utah State, which is where she said that that's where they met. She met Sophie. Um, um, and that she had also been the one to find David's body. She killed Greg, like all of, and like, so like all of this is good enough. And like her and Jordan push B out of the house and casting and like out into the hurricane, into the storm. All the doors are locked, all the windows are locked. She can't find a way back inside. She tries to find shelter in Sophie's car. She gets in by like pushing the window that wasn't all the way up in the first place. She eats some snacks, changes into some dry clothes, and she finds something very sus. In Sophie's bag, she finds the matching bottom to Jordan's yellow. And now it's kind of become personal. And, she tries getting back into looking everywhere. She finds Jordan stealing a David's dad's collection. And that's whenever, like, if she just big enough for her to fit in. And manages
Housekeeper,
to, what?
you were cutting out for the last few minutes. Like you would say something and then I'd cut out like mid sentence.
Yuck. Where did it start?
When they were looking in oh god.
Was it when B went to the car and found
Yes.
the underwear?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it was from like that point on.
Okay. So B went to the car shelter.
I think it's doing it again.
I don't know what the fuck's happening, dude. I'm not moving. They just don't want me to talk about this movie. They find the matching underwear. B finds the matching underwear to Jordan's yellow top. And B decides to find a way back into the house. She finds Jordan stealing a gun. She goes through the dog door. She finds a dog door that's big enough, and she's able to re-enter the house. She then, like, everybody meets up all at once, and B basically like says that like Jordan has a gun. Makes Jordan empty her pockets, proving that there's nothing there except for her phone and the paper that marked her as the killer. She also says that Jordan's the real killer. But after like the university lie, like no one really believes B. And to show that she can be trusted, she does give an explanation. She says that she did go to Utah State, but she had to quit because like she had to take care of her mom. She only lied because she was embarrassed and she didn't want to disappoint Sophie, who instantly hugs and forgives her. But then like you know, they're now turning against Jordan. And it prompts Jordan to turn around and take the gun out of the couch where she hid it.
Yeah.
And she begins to rant. She still thinks that B is a psychopath. And then when Sophie comes to her defense, Jordan reminds her that they didn't even invite her over. Alice says that's true because they think that Sophie only came to ask David to talk to her parents so that they would give her back her trust fund. Sophie responds right away by saying that she left for a while because they were all enabling her. That they wouldn't stop drinking in front of her, like meaning like that like they didn't respect her, so like she had to leave because she wanted a better life. And Jordan thinks that the idea is fucking stupid and she laughs. And to prove her wrong, she tells that like Sophie, like she's like, yeah, well, Sophie, like she tells B that like Sophie cheated on her with Jordan, like Sophie and Jordan hooked up. And like to prove it, like so like B can check Sophie's text messages. The fight only gets worse as they insult each other and like spill secrets while B kind of like watches in shock. Alice calls out Jordan's rag to riches story and says like her parents are actually middle class. And like that's whenever Jordan like finally just like loses it and like shoots Alice in the leg.
That was a great
Damn.
line. I was like, guess what? Your family is upper middle class. Like, how dare she?
Because that's just an insult. Oh my.
Mhm. You have less money and access to resources than we do.
So
It just sounds
uh,
like a playground insult. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
it's so funny. I mean, they're children. Like, and this is enough confirmation that Jordan was the one, because now the struggle for the gun like becomes. They fight for a little bit and like a shot let off and it kills Alice. The gun is
Yeah,
still in
shoots her
Jordan's.
right in the shoots her right in the neck.
I know. I was like, damn.
Damn, she didn't deserve that.
The gun is still in Jordan's hands whenever B starts climbing the stairs to get away. And whenever she tries to get close again, she works like Sophie, like I don't know, like they talk about it or whatever, like they become close again. It's teenage drama.
It's real.
Yeah, Jordan comes up the stairs. They start fighting for the gun again. B is with Sophie's life, and they like pushes Jordan off the handrail. But before Jordan dies, she tells B. And oh my gosh. So now Sophie and B are alone. They're trying to have a proper conversation with Sophie about their doubts. Jordan says that Sophie cheated, but Sophie says that she didn't do anything. And she starts acting strangely, and like it starts to like scare B. But like she kind of is like staying away from her. They go outside. The sun is now out. The storm is over. Emma goes outside. and is Emma. That's not right. B goes outside. B goes outside and is hugged by Sophie. Sophie's holding the gun, and Sophie that she gave Emma an illegal gift, which made Emma like Sophie gave her some like cocaine or something. Like they gave her like some kind of drug, and Emma tripped and fell. Sophie didn't say anything because she thought that nobody would believe her, and B is only pretending to comfort her just so that she can get the gun out of Sophie's hand. And whenever she is able to get the gun, she points the gun at Sophie and was just like, "Give me your fucking phone." And Sophie refuses to give it to her. But then she pulls it out to try and get the gun back. They start fighting. They fall into the pool. Whenever they start fighting over the gun again. B is the first one out, and whenever she picks up a phone, she finds on the ground, she finds out that it's not Sophie's, but it's David's. She unlocks the phone using Davis's face. He's still outside. They leave him outside. It's dead body outside. They use his face to unlock it and find the last video that he made, which he made for his girlfriend, which shows like he was just trying to do some cool tricks with a machete for his girlfriend, and he sliced himself open. And Sophie tries to accept the fact that everyone who died that night basically like died on accident, or they died for nothing. Max shows back up, wonder what happened. He's like, "What the fuck happened?" Not knowing what to say, B points out getting service, and like that was like the end of the movie. Like she was like, "Oh, we have service again."
Yeah, like the sound of all those text messages coming in, like, oh, I have reception now.
Ha ha ha.
And
We're
a
in
whole lot of
trouble.
explaining to do.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
sure do. So, symbolism?
Hmm.
That you don't really
That you don't really what?
truly know someone.
Oh,
Like people
that.
are always hiding secrets.
It's true. How people will just turn on each other with a bat of an eye without even thinking about it.
And that drugs and alcohol are bad, children. Don't do it.
Well, the only thing I really noticed is that, at least was you explained to me before this, was that it seems to be a satire on Gen Z.
Yeah,
And like their unusual way of communicating with each other without really saying anything.
but yeah, I would say it's a kind of a satire on like Gen Z as well as kind
The
of
younger
millennial in a
millennials.
way too.
The younger millennials.
The younger millennials, like millennials and Gen Z, and how ridiculous the rest of the world thinks those two generations act.
And a heavy use of social media words such as gaslighting and
Yeah, it's like
narcissistic
gatekeep girl
behavior.
boss.
Yes.
Yeah,
But it almost seems like they don't know how to properly utilize some of those terms. Like when they was like gaslighting, what the heck is gaslighting? Like it's like you're just using that same word that everybody else uses. And it's like gaslighting is like a form of lying, but it's intended to mess with someone else's perception of reality and possibly drive them insane.
It's lying. It's lying to the point where like they convince you that what
they
they're
were
saying
right.
is the truth, right? So like
Yeah,
like if I did something that that's like and confronts me about it, and I'm like, um, that never happened. No, like
Yeah.
you're crazy. Like, why would you think that I? No, you need to stop that. That's not like that. I would never do that. You're mistaking me for someone else. Like, and like, I basically just fuck up my mind and believes that what I said is. But like, you feel like he feels like he's crazy because like he's like, well, no, I know. Like it's he still feels like he knows. Like, no, like I know.
Yeah.
Person is saying no, and it, oh, man,
Yeah.
I'm triggered.
It's the way to twist it around and make it like you just don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. I've done nothing wrong.
Framing a narrative that is convenient for yourself.
Narcissists
Exactly.
do that.
Yeah. Sure
Narcissists.
do.
I would know. I used.
But yeah, watching this movie, I didn't pick up on too many themes other than like the Gen Z satire thing. Like, if there
Yeah.
was anything hidden in there, I didn't really pick up on it because based on the rating I'd give this film, I think it's okay.
All right. Well, let's get into rating systems. Ratings. What is everyone feeling?
Machetes.
How many machetes? Yes.
They're not machetes, they're kukris. It's a short sword that bends forward.
I swear
Did
that's
not know that.
I
Okay.
swear it's a machete.
I swear they're not the same.
I swear he's wielding a machete.
Well, they say machete, but
I think someone in the movie says it's a Gurkha blade, which, if any of you know
Oh,
who the
it's
Gurkha
not.
were,
It's not a machete. It looks like it is, but no.
okay, that blade. How many of those blades that David kills himself with?
yes. 3.
That's what we're gonna call it. How many blades that David killed himself with?
That's too long. I want to educate people. It's a kukri or a Gurkha blade.
A Gurkha blade?
Yes. Little history about the Gurkha. They were really good at military tactics. And you have to look a little bit more into that. But basically, like you don't mess with them. They will tear you apart.
I see.
But other than that, I'd give this movie a 3.
A 3.
I think
Okay.
I just had like a bad first
Kukri.
impression.
Kukri. They say it's a kukri.
Yeah, like it's known as that, which we discussed about a minute ago. But the point is, I gave this movie a 3 mainly because like I think I had a bad first impression because they established party culture.
Yeah.
Like I don't like seeing movies in which it's like, hey, we're having a party and the audience isn't really invited, or at least at the very least, I feel left out.
You got that
But
FOMO?
that's okay.
You got that FOMO?
It's just I get annoyed seeing. I guess because I've seen it in so many movies. Like we're having a party, and then oh no, we're gonna die. But then there's some satisfaction to it. Like yeah, I love it that these people are dying because I don't like them. Except Alice. Like she was annoying, but later on I'm like, okay, she's not terrible. Plus she stood out the most because like character design wise or costume wise, she always had those glow in the dark rings or necklaces.
Yeah.
Like it really made her pop out. And then she got shot in the leg and then in the throat.
Yeah.
Fuck Jordan.
Fuck Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan was terrible.
Jordan was like a bitch from like the beginning. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
I feel for me because I've dealt with people like Jordan before, and like God, they just type of people like the fucking worst.
It was also weird, like when Jordan first meets B, there's this moment and I'm like, is Jordan gonna sneak a kiss or something? Like there was that little moment of tension and then walks away. And then it was like, no, we're just gonna fight.
And on that note, I'm going to give this
I
movie.
wasn't finished.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
I was like,
sorry.
I was like, I
Go
wanted to
for
say
it.
a few other things. Like, it seemed unremarkable to me. Like the soundtrack didn't stand out, the cinematography didn't stand out. It didn't feel like an A24 film to me personally. And because of those reasons, I'd give it a 3 because it wasn't awful, but I thought it was an okay film. Okay, I'm done. Y'all can go.
Damn.
Y'all have my permission now.
Oh, okay. We have
Maybe
Bunyip's permission.
a 4 out of 5. Because I liked how just stupid this movie was in like the best way possible. Like I knew it was gonna be dumb, but like it's dumb in like a hilarious kind of way. And I live. And Alice is just the best. 'Cause that speech alone deserves
Spoke.
a 4. A 4 out of 5. Because I was like, I feel seen. But no, I thought this movie was very entertaining. Most definitely, yeah. 4 out of 5.
I'm gonna 5.
You're gonna what?
I said I'm going to meet in the middle. Just because there was a lot of things that I did enjoy. I enjoyed the stupidity that happened. I think like the twist was really good. Like for the longest time that they do keep you like maybe it's not very evident that people are just dying on accident. I also really like Pete Davidson. I think he's funny. Some people think that he's overrated. Some people think he's annoying. I think he's funny. I think he's great. I do agree with Bunyip's opinions on like party culture has been used a lot in like horror films in general. And like I get that they were, we're going to do a lot of these are people who live chronically online and don't know how the real world works, and they talk like they're chronically online because that's what irked me the most about this movie was that these people live like these are Tumblr Twitter kids. They're Tumblr Twitter kids. They live chronically on Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok. And they don't know how to interact with anybody else other than the people that are in their circle, and even then they're toxic towards each other. And there was a lot of things that triggered me, so that wasn't fun. that wasn't fun for me. That's why I give it a 3.5. When I watch it again, hell yeah. I love this movie. It's great. In the sense that like it's entertaining. It's a good thriller. I wouldn't say it's a horror movie. It's a thriller to me, and it was fun to watch. Other than the few times that it triggered me, because I was like, yuck. I feel that, and I feel bad for Greg
Yeah,
because fuck those bitches.
exactly.
Greg was like the only like cool one. I liked Greg. He didn't have to die. Fuck those bitches. But yeah.
Exactly.
I know I say like, oh yeah, there's a lot of bad things, but I would watch it again. I like this movie. It's a fun watch. Which brings the average to a 3.5.
A 3.5. Well, there you go. It is on Paramount as of right now, and I think it'll probably be on Max if it doesn't already.
It's on Showtime.
Yeah, it's on Showtime, which is on Paramount. So if you have that, go watch it. So thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Catch us next time as we talk about another movie. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.